So 7-1 circumference. We're really going to focus on circumference today. So I want to talk about the pieces of a circle first. Okay. So here's my circle. Just added a bunch of things. I don't know what I did. Okay. So here's my circle right here. Right. Okay. So my center is right in the middle. That's my center. Okay. The diameter is the distance across the circle through the center. Do you understand? So your diameter cannot go anywhere but through the center. Okay. My radius is from my center to my outside edge. So my diameter is all the way across. My radius is halfway across. Okay. Sometimes you're going to see lines like this. And they go like that. That's not the diameter, guys. Okay. What's that called, Mr. Brooks? Remember?
Is it an arc? No. Hang on. I got this. A chord.
Yeah. It's a chord. Okay. I think it's spelled with an H, right? Okay. I think so. Isn't it?
Yeah.
I think so. It's been a while, but there's sometimes they try to fool you with something like that. Okay. The diameter must go through the center of the circle. Okay. So the cool thing about a diameter is we could measure the diameter. And we can find the circumference by using the diameter to go all the way around the deal. And I've done a little thing before, but we're kind of slow. We're kind of low on time, so I'm just gonna tell you. So if we have a diameter, see my diameter's black, right? Yes. Okay. So the diameter of the circle goes around the circle for the circumference 3 times and a little bit more. So that's where they came up with what's called pi. Y'all remember pi? We've talked about it before. Yes? Okay. Pi is like that number that goes on forever, and it's 3.14 da-da-da-da-da. Well, it goes with a circle. So anytime you're dealing with a circle, you're going to use pi. Okay? They go together. So that's pi is how we're going to compare our diameter here in just a minute. So for example, we're going to scoot down. They gave us 2 formulas. The circumference of a circle has 2 formulas right here. Okay, the first formula is C equals pi d. Okay, that is pi, which is we're going to use this 3.14 for right now. It is a big long number that we're going to shorten to 3.14. Okay, and d represents diameter. So d equals diameter. Okay. Or you can use the formula C equals 2 pi r. Okay, where 2 is just 2, then you have pi, and then this is your r, and r represents radius, what we just talked about. Okay, so whether they give you the radius or the diameter, you could do this. You could do the problem. Now, let's think about these formulas for just a second. What did we say the radius was compared to the diameter? Half of it. Radius is half of it. So logically right here they say 2r because 2r is 2 times the radius, which is the same thing as the diameter. That's why those are 2 formulas, but they mean the same thing. Yes? Okay. Okay. So scoot down here just a second. So I want you to look at this example 1. The radius of a circle is 7 meters. Determine the diameter. Okay? Well, if the radius is 7 meters, the diameter is twice that. So it would be what? 7 times 2, which is 14. Okay? So if our radius is 7, our diameter is 14. So if our diameter is 14, our radius would be 7. So we can go back and forth in between the two, right? Okay, so let me give you another example. What if I have this circle and my diameter is 16? What's my radius? What? Go ahead. 8. Why? Because it's... Okay, but I gave you the diameter. So what are we doubling back and forth in between? Okay, example 2. Determine the circumference of a circle with a radius that is 13 inches. Okay, so they gave us our radius. Important information, right? Radius is 13 inches. We're going to use 3.14 for pi, round to the nearest tenth. That's important. Okay? You're going to do a bunch of multiplying with decimals and a bunch of rounding. Okay? And you'll start to figure out that there's numbers that you can kind of consistently match with 3.14, and you may not have to do your multiplication twice if you do it right the first time. So the first problem would be C equals 2. Okay, what's pi? What did we decide pi was? Okay. Okay, what's my radius? Okay, 13. Okay, so based on this, what would be easiest to do first? What would be easiest?
2 times 3.14.
You think that's the easiest way? I'm going to say, do I see something that I can multiply without even doing the multiplication? Can I?
Nobody likes decimals. What can you do without decimals?
2 times 13. I would do 2 times 13 first. Because remember, we have a rule. What's our rule? It's like 1 times 2 times 3 is the same as 3 times 2 times 1. It doesn't matter the order we multiply in. So I would do 2 times 3. 2 times 13. What's 2 times 13? 26. So I would say 26 times 3.14. Because if I do 2 times 3.14, I'm going to have to do decimals first on both of them, okay? And our strongest is not multiplying decimals. So I would do whatever whole numbers, multiply whatever whole numbers I could first. Okay, so 26 times 3.14. So 3.14 times 26. Okay, go through and multiply that. Thus that we need to round to the nearest what? 10. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite my number here. Where's my 10th spot? The 6. Okay? Remember, it skips it, okay? So right here is the 6. So we look behind. 4 or less, round down. 5 or more, round up. So we're going to just leave it as 81.6. So it says the circumference of the circle is 81.6. Okay? Okay. So I don't know why it mixed it in here. I hope y'all's doesn't look like that. I don't think it does it?
No,
I don't know. I didn't save it as a PDF. That may be why I didn't do a good job. Okay. So it says determine the circumference of each circle. So look at number 1. Number 1 has a what? A 5. And what is it? A radius or a diameter? It's a diameter. So which formula are we going to use? We're going to see C equals. So I'm going to say C equals pi d. Okay? So what's pi? 3.14. What's d?
5.
So we're going to have C equals 3.14 times 5. Now, so we only have to do one operation there, just 3.14 times 5. So go ahead and figure that for me. One, two, and I got 15.7. And hey, and I forgot to put our measurement up there, but I'm going to do it now. It's just going to be meters. Okay, 15.7. It's already rounded to the nearest tenth for me.
Have we done for estimating this yet?
No.
I was just gonna throw out there. Hey guys,
Yeah.
so on some of these, check your answer for reasonableness. Like, if I'm doing 3.14 times 5, just do 3 times 5. What's 3 times 5?
15.
Is my answer close to 15? Then I
Yes.
probably did it right. I mean,
Yes.
if I got like 1500 or 0.15 or something like that, that's why you want to. That's why you like really want to round off a few things, like drop some decimals and just see if it even makes sense. Okay?
I would use 2 pi r. You can use pi d. Your choice is going to come out with the same answer. So C equals 2 times 3.14 times 8. 2 times 8 is 16, right? Okay. So now you're to that formula if you just double the radius in the beginning. You just have to understand the comparison between the radius and the diameter, and there's a lot of times that we get caught up and forget which one's which. Okay. So 3.14. So 3.14 times 16 is 50.24. Okay, now I need to round to the nearest tenth. What do I need to do? This is my tenth, so I look back. Is it 5 or more or 4 or less?
4 or less.
4 or less, so I stay the same. Okay? And make sure I put my measurement on it, okay? 50.2 inches. Okay, so let's look at the last one. So I would have said C equals pi D. Okay, and then C equals 3.14 times 21. Note, what do I do at the very beginning? Write my formula every time. Does that make sense? Okay, it's just helpful for me to see it and then put it in. And then I insert my numbers. And it's just it's a little bit of extra step, but I think it's important to you understanding what you're doing when you're doing it. Okay, so 3.14 times 21 is, bless you, 65.94. Does everybody agree with that? Okay, round to the nearest tenth. So here, look back, it's going to stay the same. So it's 65.9 feet. How do you feel? Okay, look at the back of your paper. There are a few problems where it just says, if the diameter is this, what's the radius? And it just has you go back and forth. And then it has about 6 of those solving problems, and then it has 2 word problems. Guys, I need you to write the formulas. Okay. I would prefer you do all of this on your paper today, okay? Because I can't see if you're multiplying your decimals wrong unless I see your work and when you erase it on the table. So some of the days through this stuff, I'll let you write on the tables, but I'd prefer you to write it all on the paper today, okay? Get started.